Hi everybody and welcome back to the painting channel. Today I've got an ink and wash for you, so let's roll that intro. Let's see what it's all about. Now, the other day I did a little painting of a window, a tatty old window falling apart in a lovely historic place called Sissinghurst Castle. Now my wife went over there recently with her daughter, took some photographs, and this one just jumped out and asked to be painted. So I sat in the gallery the other day and literally did an ink and wash of it. Only small, but I really enjoyed the process. And it wasn't ever going to be any more than a little painting, maybe for my wife to have as a memento from her day there. So I looked at it today and I felt, I really would like to make this a video for you guys to see the process that I did or took to create it. Now, it does then hark back to the video I did a couple of weeks ago where I talked about cutting up your or subdividing your piece of paper and making small studies. In a way, this painting that I did, I really had no intention other than doing the one painting, but it has become my practice piece because what I decided to do was take everything that I looked at in that painting, everything that I made in that painting and the best of it, and try and bring it over to a much larger piece of work that I could then show you how I went through the processes and create another version of it. Now, I'm not going to sit and judge at the end whether I like one over the other, and I'll let you do that if you want to. So I'm going to get on with that. But before I do, I just want to say one little thing. I have had this watercolor channel now for several years, and I keep creating work, and I love what I do for you guys. I love creating different insights and different paintings, different methods, and also your product review. Now, I would love to hear from you in the comments underneath this if you have anything that you really would like to see me paint in the future. It doesn't happen as long as it's not flowers, not too good with too many flowers. But if you've got something that you really would like or a direction for this channel to help you with, then write them down. I can't say that I'll get all of them done, but it would be nice to know that I've got over 90 or nearly 19,000 subscribers. It would be nice to get to hear from some of you and see what you think that you would like to see me do in the future on my painting channel. So get writing, get suggesting, and I look forward to reading those comments over the coming week and even beyond that time. So with that all said and done, let's get on and let's get painting this lovely ink and wash of an old window. Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome back. Now, as I said just now, I'm going to be doing a little ink and wash for you today, and it's going to be a new version of this little picture that I did in my gallery the other day, sometime during last week, and it's all from photographs that my wife took at a recent visit to Sissinghurst Castle in Kent. And I was immediately attracted to this old window in this old barn setting, the old brickwork and the old timbers, some rotted away, glass missing, and I just felt the whole thing was extremely attractive. Now, I didn't think about doing a video of this at the time, so I just sat in my gallery and doodled one afternoon, did the ink and did the wash, and I really liked the outcome. But I felt, following on from a video I did a couple of weeks ago, and I put the link for it up there for you, that it's all about practice too. Now, you remember in before I said quarter your page up and do some little practice pieces. Well, in a way, this to me is my little practice piece. It didn't set out to be a practice piece, but I think in the context of this video that I wanted to do today, by making a second version of this onto a larger piece of paper and bringing you guys along for the process and the ride, as it were, to see how I go about that, then I think this has become my practice piece. I don't necessarily feel that this one and this one are going to be identical. You always and often bring something a little fresher to the painting that you're doing, but I'm going to see how I get on. I will also put the line art and the reference for this over on my Patreon for you to pop on over there and to download it. You don't need to be a patron to do that. Please just pop on over there and download the reference for free and have a go at this. And if you do enjoy that and have a go at it and want to put and showcase your work, then put it on the Paul Apps painting Facebook page and ask. If you're not a member already, just ask and join, and yeah, it'd be nice to see how you get on with it. And at the same time, as I always say, while you're over on Patreon, why not look around? There's so much there on offer. A lot of it is now exclusive for at least 6 months, so please take a look. And if you want to get involved with the Patreon, you'll be so welcome. I'd love to have you there as well. Anyway, back, less of the plugging, let's get on with this. So that's what I want to do. I want to do a line and wash on this bigger piece of paper based on this drawing and based on the photo reference which I have in front of me. So I'm going to put that over there to one side, out of the way. It's still going to be a little bit in shot, but it's there as a reference for me. Now, materials, well, this is a piece of hot press paper from the Fabriano stock, and it is a block. Now, the idea of a block is it's gummed almost all the way around, so it does not need taping down to hold it secure. This for me is purely an aesthetic with some black washi tape, and I like to have this little border around my painting. So that's what it's all about. The brushes, simple, a couple of rounds, a little rigger, and a dagger. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to use all of these. They're all from Rosemary's Red Dot range. So if you want to pop on over to Rosemary, if you want to buy some, then please put my name in capitals at the affiliate link on checkout, and I get a little commission from her for promoting them. But they are stunning brushes, so you won't be out of pocket and you won't be disappointed. Now, the pens I'm using, well, I've got 3. I don't think I'm going to use this one today. I'm not sure it's there if I want to. I've got a thin lame with some Diatramentus waterproof ink in it, ready to go. And I have a Sailor Food or Fude nib, depending on how you pronounce that one. And that has a nib in it that is a sort of funny angle. It's like a 55 degree angle to the rest of the pen, and so that can vary some of the marks. And if I want to increase the marks that I create, maybe during or after the painting, first drawing it with this one, I can do that. This has got some Quink black ink in it. This is water soluble, so if I wanted to just do a tonal study and not color, I could actually draw with this and then activate that ink and spread it around. I don't think I'm going to put that to one side. I don't think I'm going to be using it today. My palette, of course, my standard palette, and the details are in the Show More tab and underneath this video and all my watercolor videos, so you can check that out. But first and foremost then, let's get on, and as I say, I'm going to try and do something like this on this area and see how we get on. Right, now, first and foremost then, I'm just going to put the line of the roof in. On the photograph, the photograph I'm using on this one is a slightly different one to the one I did on here. Same window, same everything, just a little bit more information that my lovely wife captured in her version of the photograph. So I'm going to come down here. I'm just going to come through here, and that is pretty much the angle of my roof. There is a little bit of information from the slates underneath. We're going to put those in. And I think there are 2 rows, often with Kemp peg tiles. That's what these are. I'm going to put another one in there. I'm going to have to add a few more in or exaggerate there sort of size and width, but I don't really want to go too far with that. So we're going to bring that one down through here, and oh, watch what I'm doing and not look at the photograph as I'm doing it. There you go. So that is another one. We can make something with that. And another timber off to the edge. I'm going to take this right the way to the edge, and just to finish this off. And these other timbers, they're all sitting on a piece of timber that's running through here. I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to break this one off there and make sure that timber goes through there. That may or may not exist. I can't see in the photo. So from that point on, it's pretty much made up out of my head. So you can do whatever you like if you do your version with that piece of information that I've given you. Is come through here with a thicker line of this wire that's sort of going through here and goes all the way out through there. I was a bit worried about it because it could be a bit of a barrier from the viewing of this picture overall, but I'm just going to see how that works. Now this is something that I didn't do in our first picture. I don't know if it's really going to work in this one, but I just wanted to give it a try, see if I could bring another element to the whole of this drawing. Enough is enough. We're going to let this dry off now, and then we're going to come back in and add the colour and complete this drawing. Okay, so what did I learn between doing this one and this one? Well, I found that I used a jelly roll pen on here. It really was a little bit weak. I could go over it again quite happily, not a problem with that, but I do feel that this needs to be dark enough through here to make the lights show up. And I also need to keep sure that this is quite light so that it is sort of about the same value as these. I quite like this overall. That was about the right call on that. The brickwork, well, I'm going to pretty much repeat the same process really. So I'm going to take this on now and I'm going to show you how we go about all the colour. I do have a much larger number 14, so I'm going to actually choose to do that one. Bigger brush, more colour, easier to do washes. So what colours do I really want? Well, I'm going to be looking at this and paying close attention to that. And I used a lot of English red to start with, so we're going to come with some nice English red. It may well have extra layers added to this during the course of the painting. I'm going to use a little bit of my Indian red just to take the freshness out of the English red. A little bit of neutral tint. This is the Schminker one, slightly warmer as you can see, and then I'm just going to come all the way through here. it through there. Now once we get darks going on in here, then these windows will stay and come alive, as it were. They will really show up for how you want them to. And bring a little bit more sort of licheny colours through here and over the top of there, down there. But there we are, we're going to let this dry, come back in, and we're going to start adding our new layer. Right, before we carry on then, this is not completely dry. You can see the undulations, possibly, I hope you can, see the undulations of this paper. I just forgot to put in a little bit of colour under here for this sill. I put that in very, very quickly. Done, okay. But I can now bring that colour in, and I can start bringing in a little bit more of the odd shape of these bricks. So I'm not going in with any particular one, I'm just mixing up a little bit, the odd one or two, and I'm not even staying, as you can see, between the lines of our painting. It's not a picture book we're creating, we are just having a little bit of fun with a sketch. While I'm doing that, I want to come in with some stronger darks. Now, that as a base, then I'm going to come in with a bit of the neutral tint, slight bit of red into there as well. And I just want to play around with some shapes and forms in here. So what colours do I need to put in? Well, I'm going to come in with some blues and our greens. Just want to put in a little sort of dark colours into some of the areas on these bricks. Just playing around. Now, I didn't do too much of this last time. I'm looking at some sort of colour variations to our bricks just to make them look a bit old and battered and crusty and all sorts of bits of information, just breaking up some of the lighter areas of what would be the mortar between them. All right, okay, I'm going to come in with a slight bit of warmth though. Just going to attempt a little bit of warm value colour into some of the bottom parts of these timbers here while it's still wet. Just going to bring a little bit of information into some of it, but not all of it. Just change up because it's all cool, and I quite like to have a little bit of warmth into there, a little bit of a flush of warm colour. there is also evidence that you can see a little bit more board. It's like a board, it's not solid. So I'm going to bring and lift out some of that and replace some of that without going too wet. Please don't go too mad with this. It will cause you a problem. So I wanted to suggest that there is a little bit of a lighter board in here. So I'm adding some raw sienna to that mix, and it will influence that. And I think there is something laying against this. Just like an old sofa from here, but I don't know what it is. And I put that in there like that, and then once that's dry, I'm going to come around with a slightly darker influence. These are all a little bit too on the sort of light side. Okay, now I will come in with a much stronger Payne's grey colour. Could use indigo as well. Just want to come in and sort of glaze that across the windows. Not too dark. It's almost like a frosting of dark, suggesting our windows, but we've got all that sort of horrible green algal forms over these windows. And that's fine. All right, so we're going to have to come in with a lot more green there, I've just seen. So I'm going to come in with some Aureolin and some Viridian. I'm going to add some orange to that, making it quite a strong grungy green colour. Make as much or as little of this as you want to. I'm going to make quite a dark, but I want to have a bit of influence of dark through here. Looks like it's sort of a lot wetter and damper in the growth at this point. I think it's quite important. All right, I'm going to leave that now. I would like to actually add a bit more of that colour into some of these areas. I feel they're a little bit lacking. I'm going to come in and going to put in the belly of the brush down, just dragging it down in one or two places to influence that green. It's just richer where it's that orangey colour green. It's almost suggesting that the wood is really wet, and of course it would be. Enough is enough on that. I think we've got our windows looking nice. I feel that we need some more darks into this area. I think I said that just now. I'm come in with a bit more blue. This time I'm going to warm it up, make a strong warmish dark. I'm going to add that in there, to that part of the window on there, making that a stronger suggestion again into some of these where it missed out, got a little bit too light. Now for the dirt at the bottom, it's got a little bit of violet into it. I don't think that's the one that I'm looking for. A bit of blue into our colour there. I think a little bit of cobalt into that, just to suggest a little bit of dirt and something between, maybe even a little bit of red actually. It's not working with the blue colour, although it does suggest it. I think we associate our ground with a little bit of brown and a little bit of umber or red. I've used red on this occasion, but you can put whatever you like in. dried off enough to carry on and do it. The last little bits and pieces that I would like to do, and I just want to re-emphasize some thicker marks really in one or two places with the food nib or the food nib. There's a little bit of wetness in the paper. I can feel the ink spreading ever so slightly, but I'm not too worried. Just want to bring in a little thicker line here and there and under here. Right, okay, so once that's dry, the very, very last part is to either use gouache with a very fine brush, like a rigger, like this one, or indeed come back in with a jelly pen, jelly roll pen, and that's what I'm going to use. See how it goes. I've got two at my disposal. I've got a Posca Uni, and I've also got the jelly roll. So I'm going to try both and show you what they're like and just see how it works. Right, now I'm going to do a little bit in this, and I think that works initially, doesn't it? It works very nicely. But what I'm thinking of is I would like to have the idea of doing some gouache. This is my tin of gouache. There's my white. Let's sit that right next to here. You probably won't see it on camera, but what I would like to do with that is going to mix up some of the white, make quite a strong mix, because the thing with gouache, too thinly mixed and it really won't show up. But I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to that just to warm up the white, because a lot of these are not pure. I think that's much warmer, much stronger. If you start them up here, they really ought to disappear off the edge of the paper. They don't suddenly appear. So always bear that in mind, especially with grasses down here. They don't suddenly appear. They have a lie sort of beyond that. I'm making a few of them go this way as well, because there's quite a bit of that going on with this. Okay, I'm going to sign it with my pen at the bottom here. Done, sorted. Okay. Okay, so I think we're all done. Now, all I've done, I took the tape off as you saw, but I actually warmed up these bricks a little bit. I felt that they needed some distinction between the coolness of these boards and this window. So I added a little bit more light red or English light red and a little bit of translucent orange just to warm them up a bit. I think that works. Now, I had a lot of fun doing this one. Indeed, I had a lot of fun doing this one. Now, which one you think is best really doesn't make a lot of odds. This was never completed, never made as a practice piece for this one. However, I did it because I enjoyed the look of the reference and I wanted to have a play around with that and see how the whole thing turned out. But it wasn't until today that I looked at that and I felt it really would be nice to do a second version and take everything that I learned from this one and try and bring it into a bigger piece. That's exactly what I did. I learned from this That's my practice piece as it turns out, and this is the piece that I created based on my information gleaned from making this one. Now, as I said, it doesn't matter which one you feel is right or wrong. I'm sure I'll find a home and a new buyer and a new owner for both of them in due course. But I just enjoyed the process of both, and I wanted to show you how I created this one or this one based on this one. So I hope you go over to the Patreon, have a look at that, and get involved if you want to. But also the liner and the reference for this will be over on the Patreon for you to download. You don't need, as I said already, you don't need to be a patron to do that. Just download it, have a go at it, and put your version up on Painting with Paul Apps on Facebook. I'd love to see that in due course. But I'd also love to welcome you as my latest patron. So if you want to get involved, there's so much on offer. I'd love to see you there. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun doing, as I always do. And as I said right at the end there, you can be the judge as to which one you feel is best. But if you've enjoyed this, then please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And by all means, if you're not a subscriber, the channel only goes better to better and better with your support. So please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and click the bell icon and that notification tab. It tells you every time I upload a new video. My Sky course is still there. It's still £67 for over 7 hours of content. If you want to get involved with that, check out the details underneath the Show More tab, and that will tell you how to get involved with that. And I'd love to see you on that course and help you out with painting skies in watercolor. Anyway, enough of all that. I'm going to get ready for the next painting. I'm going to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Stay safe wherever you are, and above all, please enjoy your painting. Take care, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.